And I run a company.
I see. I have a couple people in here. Fantastic. Hello, Judine and Natalia. If you guys are in here, if you want to give a quick hello in the chat, that would be amazing. I don't necessarily want to get started until I've got some people in here. Sophira, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Welcome. Hello, how's it going, Judine? Okay, so I have a couple of eyeballs in here, so I'm going to get started slowly but surely. You know what? Sometimes slowly is the best way to do things, you know. Okay, and you know I could say the same thing about the people in here. Oh, Natalia, hello. All right, so I got 4 eyeballs in here. Hopefully that'll climb as we go. I love talking about marketing, as some of you know. Hi, Zolfira. You know, as you come in, feel free to give a quick hello in the chat. And I also want to give everybody a chance to kind of plug their business as much as possible. So feel free to drop in the chat what your business is. Even if you want to drop a website, that's absolutely fine. I love hearing what people are doing, and then it can also tailor some of my comments as well. Ooh, I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. Ah, I had another tab open. Okay. All right, so let's talk about marketing today. We're going to talk about the 5 secrets to building a killer marketing strategy. You know, my business partner thinks it's funny when I use the word killer. I don't know, I guess it feels very 80s or something. I don't know. But really, there are certain things that if you work on them and you do them, you can build a really great foundation for your marketing strategy, which will then build a great foundation for your growth. And so today, that is what we are going to talk about. Feel free to ask questions as we go, drop them in the chat, and I will get to them as we go. I'm monitoring both. Going to try to multitask here. We'll see how that goes. Okay. So that's a little bit about myself to get started. I am Candace Huntley. I am the founding partner of Songbird Marketing Communications. You can see behind me, my little sign. So we work with small and medium-sized businesses on helping them to build a great strategy and then helping them to connect with their audiences in the right ways at the right times. there are two of us that are kind of running around here. Trevor is kind of the realism guy, and I'm a little bit more the unicorns and rainbows. So today we're going to talk about creative strategies and thinking creatively and thinking outside of the box. And those are all things that I love to do. I've worked with a lot of different clients on things like social media, influencer marketing, media relations, which I do a lot of, both of those, experiential marketing, which has changed during COVID, but you can still create a great brand experience for someone that's a little bit more tactile. And then also doing things like content creation and just general audience connection, you know, and thinking of loyalty, and all of those important things. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I've got 5 people. Hi, Farnaz, Genevieva, nice to see you guys come in here. Feel free to say hello in the chat. Let's get into this because there's a lot to cover here, and we have 25 minutes together. So if you have ever been in any of my presentations, you know I like to jam pack them with stuff, so you can get away with some really good takeaways. All right, so secret number 1. Get to know who you are as a brand. This might seem really obvious, but you'll be surprised at how many people actually skip this step. You know, it's one of those things where you're like, how are you supposed to sell to somebody if you don't know what you're selling? So, you know, asking yourself things like, you know, these are the questions. What is your unique selling point? What can you say about your company or about your business, about your personal brand that nobody else can say about their brand? That is your unique selling point. And that is what you should focus on. What's your value proposition? You need to know what you're bringing to the table. And I'm not even just talking about the features about what you offer. Those are extremely important, obviously. But you need to figure out what value you bring to your audience. And that can be shown through content. It can be shown through your services. It can be shown through customer support. It can be shown through any manner of ways. But you have to figure out exactly what the value is that you bring to the table. And laying that out there in your value proposition is going to kind of tie a little bow and put it in a neat, pretty package where you're going to say what you bring to the table, who you're offering it to, and how you do it. You know, 1 or 2 sentences, that's really all you need to really put that into perspective. One thing that people often forget about, hi Janelle, good job today, are who are your competitors? You would be surprised at how many people we speak to, whether we're mentoring small business owners, whether we're working with clients, people that say, you know, well, I have no competitors. There's nobody that does what I do. And while it might be true that nobody does exactly what you do, you absolutely have competitors, and you need to be aware of that. A quick Google will tell me sometimes that there are, you know, 10 to 20 people that are doing similar things. So when I talk about competitors, I'm talking about direct competitors that do exactly what you do, as well as indirect competitors that do something similar to what you do, but they're still targeting the same audience. So when you think about competitors, you don't necessarily want to think exactly only in that box of what you offer. You also want to think about your target audience and what need you're filling, because your competitors and your indirect competitors are going to be filling that same need. The other thing that you need to think about are your key messages. So key messages are really just, it's your brand story broken down into bullet points. That's really what it is in a nutshell. And it might seem simple, a lot of people overlook it, but creating a document with your key messages will actually help to shape all of your communications as you're going forward. It can shape your crisis communications if something goes wrong. It can shape all of your social media content, and should. It can shape your website content. It can help you to pick themes for your blogs. It can help you to create events. Your key messages are key to helping you succeed with your marketing strategy. Again, we've had a few people join, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I will be answering them as we go. Sometimes I can multitask like that because my toddler's downstairs. All right, so that's secret number 1. Get to know who you are as a brand. And this one, again, you know, if this is the only takeaway that you take today, that's fine. This is a great foundation. You can't skip this step or you're not going to be successful. There's no way for you to sell to somebody unless you know what you're selling. And what you're selling, it encompasses a lot of different things. It encompasses what you offer. It encompasses who you're selling to, your story, all of those things combined. And the other thing to remember as well, just before I move on to secret number 2, is when you're talking about your unique selling point, if you're a solopreneur, which a lot of people are, you want to make sure that your unique selling point is partially you. What you bring to the table as an entrepreneur is something that nobody else brings to the table. You're an individual person, you have unique thoughts, you have a backstory, you have a culture, you have a family, you have friends, everything that you bring to the table. If that is what makes your business unique, then you need to figure out ways to weave your personal story through your branding. All right, secret number 2. Write down your short-term and your long-term goals. Now, a lot of you say, well, I have short and long-term goals. I've already done this. Did you write them down? That's number 1. This is something that when my business partner joined on with Songbird, he kept saying, well, I've got all of the ideas up here. I'm like, yeah, but when you're in the thick of it, you don't think about things. You need things written down. You can't keep yourself accountable if everything is in your head, because there are so many things that you have to juggle as an entrepreneur. So you need to make sure that you have things written down and that everything is kind of planned out. You do not have to be a super organized or meticulous person to make that happen. It can be chicken scratch on the back of a napkin. It doesn't matter what it is. You do you, and you make it work for you in a way that makes sense. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your marketing goals are tied to your overall business goals. So often I work with entrepreneurs who they really look at things separate. And so it's like, okay, for my business, I want to get, 10 clients. And for my marketing, I want to get, so it's that tunnel vision, and you have your eyes down. You need to look up, you need to have your eyes forward, and you need to be able to see all directions. And so when you're creating your goals, you want to think of your marketing, you want to think about your business as well. And who here has heard of SMART goals? I'm going to wait for 2 seconds. SMART goals, SMART goals, anybody? SMART goals? Nobody? Okay. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yes. SMART goals. Who can tell me what they are? Let's go through them. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. If you can meet all of those things, then you know that you're setting good goals. The biggest thing is you want to make sure that you're making things so that they are measurable for you. A goal is meant to be measured. A goal is meant to be tracked. And so anything that you create for your marketing should have those specific things associated with it. A few goals that you can look at, things like community growth. That could be social media. It could be your email list. It should be customers. Oh, who knows? Actually, that's fair. That's fair. It could be your customers as a community. There are a lot of different ways that you can look at community growth. Keeping in mind that community growth can often be seen as a vanity metric, so you have to take that with a grain of salt, and you have to really link it to everything else that's going on. You can be looking at brand awareness. This one is absolutely harder to measure, 100%. We'll talk about the ways that you can measure it in a little bit. I just gave away one of the potential secrets. That's what this is all about, is giving away secrets. But brand awareness is a great way for you to set a goal for yourself. Web traffic, that's a big one. If you're looking to tie your marketing directly to your sales, directly to your overall results financially, looking at your web traffic it can be a really great goal. You can want to up your traffic by 10%. That can be a great goal. Leads, the number of leads that you get, that's self-explanatory. Product sales, engagement, all of those different type of things are going to be great marketing goals for yourself. Whatever they are, whatever you set, obviously there are some things that are going to be industry specific as well. Set those specific goals for your industry. You don't have to be generic. What I have on here is very generic. So when you set a goal for yourself, you want to make sure that you're setting it so that it is more specific for you. So for example, you can say, okay, I want to get 10 leads per month into my consulting business. That can be a specific goal for you. For engagement, I want to get, 50 comments on every one of my social media posts, whatever it is, set those goals, make sure they're attainable for you, and then really kind of move on from there. And once you have your goals and they're written down, you can check in. Checking in is always a big one. Secret number 3, become best friends forever with your target audience. Who wants here? You can raise a hand, you can say I, whatever you want to say in the chat. Who would love to have a community of loyal customers that keeps coming back to you to buy over and over and over again because they love you? Who wants that? Yeah, absolutely. 100%, right? That's kind of, yeah, everyone, right? That should be everyone's goal. You want to have a community of loyal customers, and loyalty comes by looking at it both directions. You can't expect your customers to be loyal to you if you're not loyal to your customers. You want to become best friends with them. It's a relationship. It's not just you selling them something. It's you caring about what they want. It's you caring about what their needs are. Oops, I'm getting so excited over here. I'm gonna knock my screen off the desk. You have to show that you're taking an interest in what they want and what they need and creating dialogue. Pick a niche and really look at that niche. You don't have to be all things to everyone. You can pick a niche, even if it's really small, build great relationships with that, and inevitably it's going to spread. And so you want to make sure that you're looking at every single transaction that you're making with a customer as a relationship builder rather than a transaction. It's a two-way street. Every decision that you make with your marketing strategy should be based on your audience. You know a lot about Facebook. Who cares about Facebook if your audience isn't on Facebook? You want to pick your channels. Everything that you do should be based on your audience. If your audience hangs out a lot on Instagram, be on Instagram. If your audience hates getting emails, don't do an email newsletter. Those are the types of things that you want to look at. And if you're starting out with no customers, then you have to do a little bit of listening and research before you start. And you can start engaging with people before you even actually officially launch your business. If you've already launched your business, but your customer base is small, go to your customers and ask them. If you have one customer, you're in a unique position to ask that customer why they're buying from you and to show that you're interested in what they have to say. And once you learn more about that and you're having those conversations and you're looking at your relationships with your customer as a two-way street, then you can actually start to create a marketing program that's going to target more people and in more relevant ways, and it's going to be more valuable to you and it's going to be valuable to them. I always look at a great marketing strategy as a great negotiating strategy. Funny thing about me, I love negotiating. People hated negotiating against me when I took a course in university. I just love it. I love negotiating. I love coming up with something that's mutually beneficial for everybody because that's where everybody wins. I worked with a union for a while. It was fascinating to me. And the idea that one party would want to kind of suck everything out of the other party just doesn't make sense to me. And your marketing should be looked at in the same way. The best marketing strategy is when everybody wins. Same thing, the best negotiation strategy is when everybody wins. And if you're looking at your relationships with your audience and that it's going to be the best for everybody, and not just because it's transactional and they're buying something from you, so they're getting that from you and you're getting money in return, you really want to look at fulfilling their need. You want to look at creating a dialogue. You want to look at all of these things that we love about our friends, and you want to inject that into your marketing strategy and really make that a reality, because you want to think about people. So it's listening, it's talking, it's really ignoring that idea of that transaction as the driver for your marketing strategy. Everything should be equal. All right, we're going to move on. I could harp on that for so long. A lot of people forget, and actually one more thing, same with your social media. It's called social media for a reason. It's because it's supposed to be social. It's not just media, it's social media. It's a dialogue, it's a two-way street. All right. We've got a few more people in here. So if you do have questions throughout, feel free to drop them in the chat. I will be answering as I go and at the end. All right. Secret number 4. Track your success. I did say I was going to talk about this a little bit earlier. How are you supposed to be successful? And how are you supposed to know you've become successful if you don't track your progress along the way? All of your tracking should be set up before you start. Whether you're doing it in some fancy, a fancy relationship management software, or you're using Excel. Some people really want to go old school and you want to go on paper. That's totally fine. Do whatever works for you, but track your success. You want to track certain metrics that are associated with the goals that you've set. That is extremely important. And you want to make sure that you set times to check in with yourself. In the beginning, you want to check in a lot more. I would say even like every month or whatever it is. Once you really get into the groove and you're really grooving and you're getting on in your strategy, feel free to check in every 6 months. Every year do a huge check-in. I'm going to be doing a workshop with Dwania in a few weeks. I don't even know what date it is right now, about planning for 2021. Check in with yourself. Your long-term goals, you should be checking in short-term. Your short-term goals, you should be checking in even shorter term. Yes, it is December 25th. Thank you, Eugene. That's right. In terms of your metrics, pick the metrics that make most sense to the goals that you've set. So for brand awareness, look at things like reach, impressions, shares, referrals. All of that type of thing is going to show that people are more aware of your brand. They're seeing it out there. I know the research has changed, but let's all be honest with you. Everybody needs to see something multiple times in order for it to actually become something that they think about without thinking about it. You want to make sure that your brand is getting out there, 5, 6, 7 times in front of the same audience, because then they're going to think about you when they think about the product that you have to offer. Engagement, look at things like likes, comments, saves. All of those different things are going to be great ways for you to track that. Web traffic is a big one. Things like link clicks, your bounce rate on your website, your page stats. There are so many free applications that you can actually utilize to track all of these things. So it's not like you have to pay a lot of money. Sure, those platforms are out there, and don't get me wrong, they're fantastic if you have the money to pay for them. But if you're just starting out or your budget is low, start out with free, and then you move on from there. And when you outgrow a platform, you outgrow a process, then you can start looking for something where you can invest the money into it. Things like leads, obviously email signups, if you sign up for free consultations, things like that, those are all metrics that you can track, and they're all things that you should be tracking. And set the times that you're going to check in with yourself and hold yourself accountable. Put it in your calendar, set up times that you're going to make sure that you're looking, that you've actually reached these milestones along the way to your larger goals. So for example, if you're looking to say you want to get 100 leads in 6 months, well, that's a great short-term goal. What's going to happen along the way? What's going to happen after the first month? What's going to happen after the second month? After the third month, if you've gotten no leads, but you haven't really checked in with yourself, you really look at what's working and what's not working, by the time 6 months comes along, sure, you may hit that 100 leads, but wouldn't it be easier if you're hitting those little milestones along the way? So your goals are the end goal, and the way to get there is not a straight path. It's meandering, and there's lots of different flags to reach it. So those are all the different things that you have to take into account. And then, I was the person that said celebrate the small wins. Those milestones milestones are a great opportunity for you to celebrate a small win. So if you can celebrate reaching your smaller milestone, it's going to give you that extra energy to really reach the next milestone. So by the time you've reached your goal, you're probably going to smash that goal. You probably surpassed it because you're so excited about reaching those small milestone goals that you're just going to keep pushing yourself and moving forward. So, and your metrics and those check-ins, then you can see as well if something's not working, then you can see that you have to actually change it. So if something is not working, change it, give it time, which brings me to my next secret, because we have 5 minutes left. Timing is everything. Slow it down. Give your strategy time to breathe. If you're launching a social media strategy, if it's not working after a week, that doesn't mean that it's not working. It means that things have to optimize out. Give yourself, sometimes I actually say 3 to 4 months to actually see. You can see if something is working, you can tweak it after a few weeks, but you really want to let things breathe to really figure out the best times to post and what your audience wants to see from you. For media strategies, give it a couple of weeks. I have had media come back to me after a year and say, hey, you pitched me on this. And I was like, that was last year. Like they work on their own time. And if you can work with something that's compelling and you're providing value, time really means nothing. It's like we're all stuck in some sci-fi. So just give your strategy some time to breathe. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you're looking to launch something, give yourself enough time to plan and give yourself enough time to tease. That is a big thing. We've had people come to us and say, well, we're launching a new strategy and we're launching it next week on Monday, and it's like Thursday. And I'm sitting here thinking, what am I supposed to do in 2 days? You want to give yourself time to craft that story, give yourself time to figure out exactly the best ways to reach your audience. And then you want to give yourself time to tease before that official launch. You can talk about something that's coming up, talk about exciting things happening. You can do a really great teaser campaign for media in terms of sending out cool things leading up to it. There's lots of different things that you can do if you give yourself enough time. That is a big one. I will always, always, always talk about this. Give yourself enough time. You don't want to be stressed about a launch. So if you have everything in place beforehand, that's a really great thing for you to do. That is secret number 5. That is a quick and dirty 5 secrets. I want to know if anyone has any questions. And while I'm waiting for those to maybe come in the chat, I do have things that I can fill up these last few minutes with, but we do have are there shortcuts for an unknown small company to increase awareness? There are never shortcuts to anything, unfortunately. However, there are ways that you can make yourself, you can amplify your message. So for example, and Melissa, I don't know what kind of business you have, but if it's a lifestyle business, if it's product-based, you can work with an influencer to help to amplify your message, because they have a larger following. So a lot of smaller businesses will work with an influencer who has a larger following to really help to kind of increase the community, increase the awareness. That's one way. So using a third party to do that. Obviously, there are paid advertising strategies that are going to help you increase awareness. If you're looking for that shortcut, and that word kind of makes me cringe sometimes because there are no shortcuts. You do need to do that foundational work to really set yourself up for success and for growth. You could say a shortcut would be working with an expert to help you. Sometimes the investment that you're making in it can be worth it if you actually wanted to do that. I know there was lots of talk about mentorship as well. That one's not necessarily as much of a shortcut, but it will be a shortcut for you for learning as well, for knowledge. So shortcut, no, but there are strategies and tactics that you can use to help to amplify your message. We have this free masterclass on what to do if your marketing isn't working. So what we've been doing every month is we've been picking a topic and letting entrepreneurs come on and really ask specific questions about about their marketing strategy and things are not working, specific questions, having great discussions. And so that will be happening for us next week on Friday. Feel free to sign up. I will be in my booth as well for the rest of the day if you wanted to chat. If you want to have a direct video message or video chat with me as well, I will be around. I might wipe my lipstick off, so I might look different, but who knows? Hopefully you have taken some good stuff away from this today. I am always here to answer any questions for entrepreneurs. Love working with entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur. So that would be it for me today. If you have any questions, feel free to stop by the booth. I will actually put that in a link in here as well. And right now we actually have 20% off our small business packages. So it's a really great opportunity for you to get some great expertise on your side to help you to really boost things. I will talk with you soon.